So in the ever-changing landscape of Hollywood, things are looking rather interesting. Disney about to acquire Fox and change the landscape. Universal taking over majority of Europe by the look of it, and Sky Network. And now it looks like Sony is next to go, and to someone that is kind of the right choice if you look at it. So we've known for a while now that Sony more or less cannot survive in the state they're in. Yes, they're having a few hits out there, but Sony's movie and TV division is looking rather bleak compared to what it once was. You know, the mighty Sony empire has rather fallen over the decades. You know, in the 2000s they were reigning supreme and the PlayStation 2, but ever since then it's been a struggle to stay afloat. And we know that things for Sony are looking rather worse when you consider the future, you know, as their PlayStation brand seems to be their bread and butter and everything else is kind of suffering. So as it's being reported in Variety's talking about it, they predict that Apple is going to be the one that buys Sony. Now, realistically, I know people think of Apple and they just think, oh, whatever, phones and whatever, right? But Apple makes more money than Universal and Netflix and Disney and Sony and Fox and Warner Brothers combined. So, you know, it wasn't too long ago that there was the proposal, and we don't know how far it went, but clearly it didn't happen, that Apple was actually looking into buying Disney. But they were kind of unsure if they wanted to, and that would have been a giant break of just pretty much everything. You know, that would have been a true monopoly with that much power. But Sony isn't on the level of a big, you know, developer of that size, and when you really think of it that way, it makes a lot of sense. You know, you get Sony because Apple understands as well, because they're developing their own TV, that the future is on the internet, right? The future is also in films, and the future is in owning big IPs. If they were to do this, they would own a pretty substantial amount of franchises and backlog of Sony's history that could really deliver right off the bat something that they're looking for in a subscription service, or better yet, just to all Apple users, because as it's been rumored, a lot of it's going to be offered for free. So if you have Apple products, you're getting stuff for free. That's a great way to incentivize you to become a part of the Apple family, at the same time getting a bunch of products, you know. So it's kind of looking likely that this is going to happen. And as I've said, you know, over the last couple of years, Sony is going to sell. They can't survive, so it's just a matter of time on who buys them. And Apple is probably going to be the one, because being real, nobody else is really in a position to, because it's just going to cause a lot more commotion than that's really worth.